Nearly 1 in 5 U.S. adults live with a mental illness. Of that one, about 2 out of 5 are currently receiving mental health services. That leaves 26.7 million people without treatment.
Mental illness has a rocky treatment history in the United States. Institutionalization of people with mental illnesses was very common until the late 1950s when the deinstitutionalization movement took hold. States were encouraged to move people out of state mental hospitals due to the passage of Medicaid, which stated that states would no longer receive federal funding for people in institutions for mental diseases, which were defined as facilities that treat specifically psychiatric or psychological patients with 17 or more beds. This has become known as IMD exclusion. IMD exclusion specifically affects Medicaid recipients ages 21 to 64. 1 in 5 people in the U.S. with a mental illness and 1 in 4 people in the U.S. with a serious mental illness are covered by Medicaid and affected by IMD exclusion. IMD exclusion should be fully repealed. Let's find out why. IMD exclusion forces people on Medicaid seeking inpatient psychiatric care into general hospitals. A recent government study found that 20% of emergency department visits for mental health or substance abuse-related issues were billed to Medicaid. This means that 1 in 5 emergency department visits for mental health or substance abuse-related issues are affected by IMD exclusion and cannot receive treatment in any other facility. To make matters worse, there is currently a shortage of psychiatric beds available in general hospitals. Patients with mental health and substance abuse-related conditions spend more time in the emergency department after they are already admitted to the hospital because there are no inpatient psychiatric beds available. Mental health and substance abuse-related conditions also require more intensive care than other conditions, therefore impacting the other patients in the emergency department's care. Repealing IMD exclusion would allow Medicaid recipients seeking inpatient psychiatric care to receive treatment in psychiatric hospitals, therefore lessening the strain on general hospitals' emergency departments. IMD exclusion has caused the warehousing of the mentally ill in jail, creating the exact issue that it was designed to fix. Jails have become the largest mental health care providers in the U.S. It is estimated that 15 to 25% of incarcerated adults have a serious mental illness. That's 3 to 5 times higher than the general population. Jails are serving as a structured environment for people with serious mental illnesses to receive treatment and medication to become fully functioning again. This is hugely counterproductive and actually more expensive than if they were in a psychiatric hospital. Unfortunately, these people cannot receive treatment in a psychiatric hospital because states have cut funding to psychiatric hospitals and the federal government is not paying for them. Through IMD exclusion, the mentally ill have only been transferred from mental hospitals to jails, which is actually worse than if they had stayed in the mental hospitals in the first place. Now, I mentioned that it was more expensive to house a mentally ill person in a jail than in a psychiatric hospital. Now, you might be asking, well, how much more expensive? Well, it is estimated that it's about $3,500, give or take, to house someone in a psychiatric hospital with treatment per month. For jails, it is roughly $13,500 per month to house a mentally ill patient in jail and provide treatment. That's $10,000 more per month per patient. That's a lot of money. Repealing IMD exclusion would allow the federal government to pay for psychiatric hospitals as well as the states, greatly increasing the funding to these psychiatric hospitals. This would incentivize states to help bring mentally ill people into the psychiatric hospitals, which would keep a lot more people out of jail. Critics of repealing IMD exclusion say that IMD exclusion has been crucial in helping states move to community-based care and that community services are the ones failing, not IMD exclusion. But repealing IMD exclusion wouldn't affect community-based care. Repealing IMD exclusion would only allow the federal government to provide aid to inpatient psychiatric care and would not decrease the aid that the federal government or the states are giving to community-based care. It is true that repealing IMD exclusion is not an overall fix, but it is definitely a step in the right direction, and that's the direction that we need to go. So what can you do? First of all, you can write your representatives. You can go online, write them with an old-fashioned letter, you can email them, all that stuff. The second thing you can do, which is probably the more likely thing with all y'all, is you can talk to your friends. Tell everyone about this crazy thing because it's not super well known. You can post about it on social media, you can tell your parents who are voters. Just really raising awareness about this issue is really helpful to help getting something done in Congress. Thanks for listening.